So in Tuesday's video, we discussed returning to the position of the observer or awareness. Today we discuss applying it in relationships with others. So let's reflect upon this quote here by Joseph Murphy to stimulate our conversation. He says, "Remember, it is the world within, namely your thoughts, feelings, and imagery, that makes up your world without." So life is made up of a series of nows, each moment now, all strung together, which the subconscious mind weaves together as a story we call life. At each one of these nows, there are doorways into other aspects of reality in which we can enter by selecting inside based on how we relate to another person. And from there, everything changes, even radically perhaps, which is then reflected by life experiences, again, with the other person or others in similar scenarios, all woven together as the story of our life, as articulated by Joseph Murphy here in The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. He says, all of us have our own inner fears, beliefs, opinions. These inner assumptions rule and govern our lives. A suggestion has no power in and of itself. Its power arises from the fact that you accept it mentally. So let's explore this further. When we select an ideal moment or belief or idea and accept it as true in mind from the infinite possibilities that already exist within us, it gets included as part of our experiences alongside everything else we have selected, both consciously or unconsciously, for example, in relationships with others. One may had an experience where someone had maybe done something, and as a result, they formed a belief that they hold as true about themselves or in relationship with another person. Then let's say they end up in an interaction with someone else, where in the story of their life, which they have the same kinds of experiences, that same idea that they accepted as true, which has now become a subconscious belief, expresses automatically in that interaction or in the relationship with that person. Now, if they consider this to be a disempowering experience with another, it is important, as we discussed in Tuesday's video, to not shame or condemn, but rather accept that they are ideal now, lovingly and unconditionally. Return to the position of the observer, and with this power of awareness, we're able to understand what is going on in mind and what is playing out in the interaction with others, and select a different experience consciously inside and accept it as true. We applied this as applicable, and we'll notice that our relationships with them change. So what we're applying here is acknowledging that we already are our ideal now and allowing our relationships to reflect accordingly. We apply this in moments where we may experience reactivity, past disempowering beliefs playing out with others. So we understand that others show up and reveal our subconscious beliefs. This is the law. The law is whatever you believe at a subconscious level is what is outpictured, as also emphasized by Joseph Murphy, where he states, "As you sow in your subconscious mind, you shall reap in your body and environment." And so you may have thoughts throughout the day that show up for whatever the reason may be, and you can choose which ones to accept as true or not. Many of them you may allow to pass, and overthinking as a result becomes a thing of the past. You have all the power as to what you want to accept as true, and what you accept as true you sow. So through this heightened awareness, the subconscious contents of our mind and how it is played out in relationships with the other person are revealed. From this awareness, we are also consciously suggesting what we consider to be ideal and accept it as true. Now, it's also important to acknowledge that if you already accepted the suggestion of perhaps I have a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with integrity and mutual benefit in relationship with others in business. Subconsciously, what we're applying here is remaining in that position of a heightened awareness to allow our subconscious ideal truth to play out without overthinking and emotional turmoil. So from this simple suggestion, which is also felt from the heightened awareness, you are able to acknowledge your ideal self and live from it. In the Bible, it states, "Do not be conformed by this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Romans 12:2. And you renew your mind in the presence of a person that reveals a past limiting subconscious belief by returning to your divine center, your formless self, your awareness of being, the center of your consciousness, I. And it is from this center that this magic happens as you transform instantly and others transform instantly as well in your presence. You'll notice this, and thus, as you notice it, you'll further encourage it as you observe it happening. Those that are said to have mastery of mind weave a wonderful life automatically from their ideal self-image because they acknowledge what is ideal to them inside. This is the conscious use of the two gifts of speech and mind as stated in the Corpus Hermeticum. So, as the mind is purified by bringing awareness to how a person relates with others, it becomes more subtle, and they find that they are more present in engaging in interactions with others as they have released unnecessary identification in mind to certain beliefs, which we could call limiting or disempowering. The subconscious mind, then, by what we consciously imagine, externalizes these experiences in life via our conscious suggestion. So no external validation or proof is needed when we think feelingly and accept what we desire as true inside. We allow the subconscious mind to play it out. The conscious mind with heightened awareness is aware and can release identification in mind to certain limiting beliefs by mere suggestion. I am my ideal now, or others love me. Wherever I go, people are good to me, or ideal now. So as mentioned, the subconscious mind weaves a story of life automatically, and we can change this story from any moment called now, as all power exists now and only now, as articulated by James Allen in The Heavenly Life. Past and future are dreams. Now is a reality. To live in thoughts of what you might have done or to dream of what you mean to do, this is folly. But to put away regret, to anchor anticipation, and to do and work now, this is wisdom. All things are possible now and only now. So you don't have to identify with any belief that shows up unless you choose to via your heightened awareness. And as we accept the ideal thoughts with self-suggestion, they become the ideal core beliefs you live from and make up your self-image. With conscious self-suggestion, encouragement of your ideals in some shape or form, you begin to operate automatically from your ideal, experiencing ideal relationships, thus, in all areas of your life. So we see then, we are not our thoughts, emotions, or beliefs. We transcend them as the formless self, and we choose what thoughts and beliefs we want to identify with or not. You have mastery of your mind now. All power exists within you to create the life that you want. Creation is already complete, actually. We reveal it as you are complete inside and everything exists within you. And from the infinite possibilities that exist within you, you relate with others consciously by how you choose to relate with them inside. All of this happens by releasing identification in mind to those beliefs as they are revealed by experience in your scope of awareness, which you no longer consciously choose to identify with. This is your world, the scope of awareness from the infinite potentiality you desire to experience, and all of it exists within you, you have all the power to choose how you want to relate with others and how others relate with you in this moment, now. So what are you aware of being inwardly as you relate with another person? Whatever you accept as true, your subconscious mind weaves into life experiences. So again, we are aware of infinite potential that already exists within us, as we've been discussing this, and we accept as true inside whatever is ideal, and our subconscious mind weaves it into life experiences from our ideal, representing our ideal life in relationship with others accordingly. For example, I remember in a past business dealing, the same argument would play out, and the subconscious belief that played out was that I needed the other person to approve of me in order to feel fulfilled inside. It's also interesting to see how the same patterns would play out in different relationships in my life so that we can bring them to peace within. I always say, the greatest teacher is anyone within your awareness, wherever we go. So we want to accept that all healthy happiness is found within and externalized as happy and harmonious relationships with others. And thus, they were mirroring to me that which I had the opportunity to reconcile within, and what had one time had appeared as seeming unnecessary conflict allowed me to become aware of the pattern in the moment. And as I noticed this pattern, real time, their body language began to change. My body language began to change. What they said, how they said, the conversation flowed ideally. This was a result of, in the moment, releasing to the identification with that disempowering relationship belief in mind by bringing awareness to it in the moment, now. So we assume full responsibility. Awareness is brought to what I was once subconsciously saying I am to inside, subconsciously, and then I put off that former conversation and renewed in the spirit of mind, as speech is the image of mind, as articulated by Neville Goddard. So we see if we keep identifying with beliefs of the past in some shape or form, rather than bringing awareness to them now, conscious awareness to them now, and operating thus from our ideal now, we may notice that they keep prolonging in identification with them. Awareness is powerful. You already have it. It is you now. And thus by acknowledging it, you feel. Experientially, you feel. You are your ideal now. So what is very helpful then is acknowledging and encouraging the various attributes that imply that you already are your ideal now in relation with others. You see, I realized that this was what was going on within me over the years as a result of applying this information. Every book that I was reading in its own way with respects to this information was bringing me to this as the authors were saying it in many different ways, which I found to be helpful, that you already are your ideal now. You are complete inside. Everything exists within you. And from there, you can select in your imagination whatever is ideal for you and live from that premise. Through this mind purification, I noticed as well that all which I would consider to be ideal playing out in relationships. And I like how Joseph Murphy said it. He said, your subconscious mind, being creative, the one with your divine source, will proceed to create the freedom and happiness which you have earnestly decreed. So our intention behind what is being suggested to ourselves is how we select, because we all have individualized meanings to words and phrases. By accepting that you have everything now, by whatever implies, you allow everything to unfold. Your ideal relationships unfold naturally. I like this passage here from the Bible. Matthew 6:6. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. So we don't question what and how it happens. We only close the door of mind to doubt, leave it outside, and whisper in secret what we desire to experience. For when we enter the room, it is blank, mind is blank. And from this observer point, we fill it consciously that they are their ideal now. I am my ideal now, or something like that to feel it real. For the outer aspects of our lives, in relation with others, transforms by what we are conscious of being and accepting as true now. And thus now is the only time to see one another lovingly, and as we do, how we relate with them goes smoothly. So practice what is being discussed here by applying these steps. Number 1, if you feel reactive as a result of subconscious identification to the past in relation to the present moment with others, which you could call limiting or disempowering, accept yourself. You are fine. Love yourself unconditionally now. Number 2, acknowledge, and a lot of times this happens automatically, that you transcend all these beliefs and you feel free now. From there, everything changes, ideally. And if you find the belief to persist, this is subconsciously persisting within, you can, as reality is how you say it is, write down the ideal belief in relation to the experience, turn them into autosuggestions, which you could read in the morning or night, record them, listen to them before napping or going to sleep in loop, or saying them to yourselves as often as you'd like throughout the day. This is what I did as applicable, having discovered it in Think and Grow Rich in 2004 via the 2 chapters, The Subconscious Mind and Autosuggestion. And it has never been known to fail. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's go ahead and conclude this with an autosuggestion to further encourage. You could say, I acknowledge that I already am my ideal now in relationship with others as everything changes some way, somehow, to reflect the change that took place within me. I honor what I love within, and the outer reflects as loving relationships with others. I acknowledge with awareness what I am conscious of being now in mind, which is love and spirit of harmony with all. If you would like a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk with you soon. Take care.